Vodka is the answer to your question, but I have a question for you. Who's in charge of the pies this year for Thanksgiving? After watching this video, you should volunteer with confidence. Pie crust used to be one of my least favorite things to make because it is so dang fussy, kind of like a teething toddler. It took me a decade to find a recipe I could use confidently. We promise you, by following this technique, you too can make flaky, soft, delicious pie crust every time. Try it this year for Thanksgiving. This recipe starts with 1.25 cups of unbleached all-purpose flour, a half teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 6 tablespoons of cold, unsalted butter, a quarter cup of cold vegetable shortening, 2 tablespoons of ice-cold water, and the star of today's recipe, 2 tablespoons of ice-cold vodka. Yes, you heard that right. Stay tuned until the end, where I will go over some common mistakes people make when trying to make a pie crust and tips to avoid them. Add 3/4 cups of flour, the salt and sugar to a food processor and pulse a couple times to combine. The temperature of the butter and the shortening here is very important. You want them to be as cold as possible and work quickly, transferring the butter and shortening to the food processor. Combine for roughly 10 seconds and then add the remaining half cup of flour for the final pulses. You might think the mixture is not combined, but trust me, I won't lead you wrong. Sprinkle the cold water and cold vodka on top of the mixture. Working quickly and gently, combine the mixture with a rubber spatula. Yes, you could take shortcuts, some might say the easy way out, and pick up some pie crust from the frozen food section of the grocery store. But as believers in the slow foods movement on this channel, we know the personal satisfaction and confidence you will gain by making this pie crust from scratch will be worth it. Plus, what the heck is hydrogenated lard with BHA and BHT added for flavor anyways? I guarantee you won't find that anywhere in your favorite recipe book anytime soon. Cover the dough with plastic wrap and refrigerate it for at least 45 minutes. Here's a pro tip so you can enjoy more time drinking wine with your brother and dad on Thanksgiving, or helping grandma with the gravy, but definitely stay out of the way with mom and auntie as they quibble over the stuffing and mashed potatoes. You can do everything we've shown you up in this video until now the day or two before and leave the dough in the refrigerator with absolutely no difference in quality. Using a lightly floured surface, look how easy it is to work with this dough. We can even roll it out with our hands. Use a rolling pin at the end to get the dough to roughly 12-inch circle and an inch thick. Put the pie crust back in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. I skipped the part where you make the pie crust look pretty and fluted because I'm terrible at it, but now would be the time to do that. When you're ready to blind bake, make sure your oven's at 425 degrees Fahrenheit or 218 degrees Celsius, and add tin foil to the edge, your pie weights to the middle, and bake for 15 minutes. As promised earlier, there are 3 common mistakes we see and hear about when making pie crust. The first is the fats, in this case butter and shortening, get too warm, and thus you'll lose the flakiness everyone craves and loves in a good pie crust. That's why you can't skip out on the refrigeration steps in this process, and you must work quickly and gently at the same time and use ice-cold ingredients. The second mistake is using too much water, which will create too much gluten and a tough crust, shout out food nerds. Hence why vodka is so important for this technique. The vodka substitute allows for the dough to still combine easily and create a very workable, soft end product. The final mistake we see and hear about often is not blind baking or using tinfoil to blind bake, which will create a soggy bottom mess or a burnt edge. No one wants either of those. Then remove the pie weights and bake for 5 to 10 more minutes until golden brown.